Where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. God has given us unlimited treasures in His Word. Every time we open it, we can discover a new treasure or admire an old one. What will we find today? Here's Carla Early with Treasure Hunt in the Word.
Many a sleepless night I've spent in fear of some future event looming in front of me. Something I've got to face, but it seems too big, too complicated, too out of my league, too hard for me. The next time that happens, I plan to go to Deuteronomy 7:17 through 21. To give you a little background, the Israelites had spent the majority of their lives in the wilderness, wandering around, following the pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night, eating manna off the ground, waiting for their parents' disobedient generation to die off so that they could enter the land that God had promised their ancestors. As that time drew nigh, God knew that fear would creep into their hearts, so He gave them 3 things to remember. Let me read the passage to you. If you should say in your heart, "These nations are greater than I, how can I dispossess them?" You shall not be afraid of them, but you shall remember well what the Lord your God did to Pharaoh and to all of Egypt, the great trials which your eyes saw, the signs and the wonders, the mighty hand and the outstretched arm by which the Lord your God brought you out. So shall the Lord your God do to all the people of whom you are afraid. Moreover, the Lord your God will send the hornet among them, until those who are left who hide themselves from you are destroyed. You shall not be terrified of them, for the Lord your God, the great and awesome God, is among you. God reminded them of what He had done in the past. Many of them would have remembered the plagues and miraculous delivery from Egypt, not to mention the parting of the Red Sea. For those born in the 40 years of wandering, they had seen battles won, their clothes never wearing out, the daily manna they gathered. God had a history with them of miracles that could only have come from His hand. With that kind of history, they could be confident that He could help them take the promised land. The Lord also reminded them who He was, the Lord your God. He's great and awesome, not far up in heaven somewhere, but among you. They could plainly see His presence in the pillar of fire and cloud. That's the God they had. With Him on their side, they couldn't lose. God also reminded them that the promised land had that name for a reason. He promised their ancestors that land, and He was about to keep that promise. As other promises had been fulfilled, they could trust that their faithful God could keep this one as well. So when you and I face something and find ourselves fearful, we can remember all God has done in the past, whether things in the Bible or miraculous events in our own lives, and we can confidently say, "I know God can do this." We can recall God's many attributes: omnipotent, defender, provider, sovereign, victorious warrior, deliverer, healer, just to name a few. And we can confidently say, "My God's got this." We can review His promises, especially the one that says, "I will never leave you or forsake you." And as we remember these things, we can confidently say, "I am not afraid."
You can contact us at treasurehuntintheword@gmail.com. We'd love to hear the treasures God has given you through His Word. You can listen to other episodes on our website, which you can find in the description below. Thank you for listening, and remember, where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.